Alex Rowley, up to 4 minutes, please.
Presiding Officer, we've had what was, in the main, a consensual debate today, and I would also want to welcome the women who have come along here today who spend their time campaigning for housing for asylum seekers. As has been acknowledged today, the world is witnessing the highest levels of displacement of people on record. The United Nations reports that over 68 million people from around the world have been forced from their homes due to war, violence, persecution, and this is on the increase. All of us will have seen the horrific images from countries such as Syria and Myanmar and the terrible violence that these people are having to flee from. So I think it is very important that we do not lose sight of the bigger picture of what is driving what is a global crisis. Yesterday, I retweeted what the First Minister had to say when she visited Auschwitz and the impact on her of that visit. Personally, I will never stop thinking about what I saw when I visited Auschwitz, and I will always remember the tour guide telling me that initially Hitler tried to expel many of the Jews, but when they sought refuge, many other countries turned them away. And I assume that the 1951 UN Convention relating to the status of refugees was the world's attempt to make sure that people fleeing violence, persecution, fear and death would get support from the countries that had signed up to that convention, one of which is the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom can and should do more. The motion is focused on what happens when people are seeking refuge in the UK. The current experience for those seeking refuge and asylum is not good, you would have to say. As the Cabinet Secretary, as Pauline McNeill and many others said, the Home Office process is slow and ineffective. Asylum seekers are facing record delays in the application process. Campaigners attribute the decline in grant of asylum in part to an unrealistically high standard of proof for asylum seekers, saying that applicants are expected to obtain impossible proof such as evidence documenting torture and sexual violence. High levels of error in Home Office decisions, which Patrick Harvey highlighted, of 11,461 appeals that were lodged last year, 39% of those appeals, 4,307, were successful. Asylum seekers are not allowed to work. People seeking asylum in the UK are only allowed to work if they have been waiting on a claim for more than 12 months and they can fill a role on the shortage occupational list, which includes positions such as classical ballet dancers. Asylum seekers, it is estimated, could contribute £42 million to the UK economy if these rules were relaxed. The Lift the Ban coalition, made up of 80 organisations, is calling on the government to give asylum seekers and their adult dependents the right to work after waiting 6 months for a decision on their claim and unconstrained by the shortage occupational list. For too many asylum seekers, there are detention centres, and given that 53% of the global displacement are children, there needs to be a review of policy around family reunification. I think in Scotland we can do better. The motion is correct to identify the need for the UK Government to work more closely with the Scottish administration, and we will also support the Greens amendment and urge that discussion take place as soon as is practical to implement the recommendations in paragraph 96.4 of the Smith Commission. Thank you.